guys, this is Amy here at Sketchbookist, and I thought today what I would do is take you through some sketchbooks I'm currently using. These are pretty typical of what I like to use, so we'll get started. So this one is very old. I bought it at Barnes & Noble in maybe 2005 or 2006, and I did exactly 3 sketches in it and then put it aside and never used it again until 2015. And 2015 was the year that I decided to do daily sketching, and just to get into the habit of sketching all the time, really. So I filled this sketchbook in 2015 and 2016. So this to date is the only sketchbook that I have that is full. So it's completely full, and there will be a tour of this one up shortly. So this one, for being just a Barnes & Noble, it had really good thick paper in it. Smaller than A5, so I'm not really sure what size it is. This would be an A5 size, and this is maybe half that. I used ink and watercolor in it, and no bleed through whatsoever. So that was a good sketchbook. I don't favor this size, but it was good for what I used it for. This one is a Strathmore Tone Tan. I bought it because I saw some other YouTubers using it, and I really liked that you could use marker or graphite on it and then use white highlights. And so this one is going to be fairly monochromatic, maybe with hints of red. So that's that. I've only done a couple sketches in here, so I like it so far. I don't think it's thick enough paper to do a lot heavy inking or watercolor, but it's nice for sketching. So this one is actually a Canson mixed media. They normally have a blue cover, like let me find one. Oh, here's one. It's a very large one, but they normally look like this. I just painted the cover kind of a little abstract galaxy scene because I didn't really want that bright blue cover. It has a really good weight of paper for pretty much anything you do in a sketchbook. It can take watercolor, it takes ink. This one I'm using for fan art and fantasy sketches. So most of my sketchbooks, I'm trying to keep them to one sort of media or topic, just so that I can sort of have some continuity. So like dragon, Pikachu fan art. And I don't have very many pages in this one. It's maybe 1/8 of the way full. But good paperweight for a sketchbook. This one's the A5 size, and I like it. It's a good size. It has really bright white paper, which I also like. So, this one is actually one that I'm using a lot more. I bought the sketchbook liking the idea of it. For what you get, I don't really think it's worth the price. What the concept is it's just reused paper. So it's like scrap paper. All different kinds of different scrap paper. Some of it's like architectural plan type stuff, like this, where it has parts of something printed on it. It's all different colors and textures. There's some panels in here like this that are like some sort of film. I just thought it was neat. I didn't know what I would do with it when I bought it, and then I got it, and it sat on my shelf for a year. So I picked it up and I decided I was gonna do real loose animal sketching and drawing in there. And I have a hard time with doing loosening up and just being creative and letting go. And I thought that would be a good sketchbook for that, since a lot of the pages are, have things printed or are weird textured papers that I normally wouldn't draw in. So I thought this would be a good way to loosen up. So I've just done some sketching of dogs in here, real loose and fast. I'm finding I really like charcoal in this book, because and chalk pastel, because you can get, you know, results that are pleasing quickly and without a lot of meticulous sketching. But this is Resketch, so it's 7x9 and it's reused paper. I don't know, I think I paid, I can't remember what the exact price is. I would think it's probably between 15 and 20. I don't necessarily think it's worth it, but like I said, I like the idea of it. This one, started the sketchbook in 2016 in September, so about a little over a year ago. Right before Inktober. When I started the sketchbook, I knew I wanted it to be my ink sketchbook, do only inking in here. And I did a few sketches right before Inktober, made it all the way through Inktober, I don't know how. I did a few sketches afterwards and then set it on my shelf and didn't look at it again. And I just recently picked it up and did a couple, and I'm going to use it for Inktober again. I'm going to try to at least do something every week in this one, because this is just a Walmart cheap sketchbook. It has paper in it that's a little bit thicker than typing paper, but there's some ghosting. Like if I use, let me find a page where I used a lot of ink. Oh, here we go. If you put a lot of ink on a page and let it puddle, let me find another one that's like that. I don't want to show that drawing just yet. No, maybe I will have to. So this one that was the Inktober for Rec. So I just used a dropper and dropped ink onto the page, and it definitely bled through. I have another drawing somewhere where the ink bled through like this, only it stuck to the drawing on the other side. So it definitely doesn't hold up to a lot of abuse. Like I said, a little thicker than typing paper, but definitely only a good sketchbook for sketching and drawing, not really watercolors, and really limited in ink, because it definitely doesn't, the paper doesn't take that. And then I just drew like a little filigree thing on it. You know, gotta decorate those sketchbooks. This one is a Moleskine watercolor sketchbook. I mean, everybody knows about Moleskine. They're great. They've got great paper in them. They're for watercolor. They have pockets in the back so you can put things in. You know, I just have like my kids' drawings in there. You know, they have this nice little elastic that goes around. They're great sketchbooks, and they're worth the money you pay for them. They're not the cheapest sketchbook, and they're definitely worth what you pay. I want to practice more in watercolor and just refine my watercolor technique instead of just using watercolors to fill in ink drawings. So I've been just doing some landscapes, experimenting with gold ink, you know, to make these underpaintings kind of really sparkle. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm not very far into this one. I bought the sketchbook at the same time I bought the Resketch, and I promptly never used it again. So, you know, oh wait, I used it once. I did one watercolor study that I hated. I didn't even put the date on it, sorry. Here, I'll show you what it was. It was this flower, and I drew it from life, and it's pretty awful. But, you know, that's why I bought it, I guess. So I set it aside. I always have these ideas, oh, I'll paint this or paint that, and I just haven't pulled it out. I did start painting more in it just after the eclipse, because I had a couple eclipse ideas that I wanted to work out. Learned a little bit there, and I've done a few more after that, and I think I'm going to keep it up. I'm enjoying it. I figure if I can do a sketch in here each week and a sketch in my ink one each week, I'll make progress on these sketchbooks. I don't mind having more than one at a time, you know. This one is more specific. It's for a specific project. It's another Strathmore Tone Tan. It's a little bit bigger, and I'm actually using it to do studies of animals. Real more thought out studies. Here's some of the first ones of these long-haired cats for a project that I have procrastinated on. So I bought the sketchbook so that I would have a place to consolidate all of the studies I'm going to be doing of animals for this project that I have coming up. And I'm going to take some of the stuff I learned with my sketches in the Resketch sketchbook and combine them with this. And I think I'm going to get some really exciting things out of that. So right now, these are my current sketchbooks. I know a lot of people like to do one sketchbook and fill it up from front to back, and that might probably be a good idea. That's what I did with this little leather one. That's the one that I sketched in. I didn't hardly draw on anything else, and I did it. I mean, it's a lot of pages, and I did front and back, and I managed to get it filled all in, except for the first couple. I did that one when I first got it, painted over the one that was on this page. I did this one when I first got it. This one was one of the original sketches. This one was, and this one wasn't, and this one. Then after that, it starts to be just experimenting and playing with watercolor and ink and, playing with just whatever came into my head that day. And I had a lot of fun with it, and I worked a little bit looser, and then I just sort of got back into my old habit of wanting all of my sketchbooks to look beautiful and perfect, and can't put a bad sketch in them either. Ever do that, and it sort of leads you to this never wanting to sketch. So now I have kind of compartmentalized my sketchbooks into topics or subjects or themes, and it's actually helping me a little bit be more excited about sketching, especially this one where I know I'm gonna just do sloppy sketches, and the bottom one where I'm just doing studies, because practice is good. But yeah, this is my current sketching situation. I think all artists are a little bit of like sketchbook hoarders, and I like playing with different kinds of paper and different techniques and different textures, but this is what's working for me now. I've had a couple other sketchbooks that I just threw away or gave to my kids because I hated them so much and I wasn't ever going to put anything else in it. I have papers that are not sketchbook, that are more like paper blocks or pads of paper that I like to use that are not bound in any way. So, but instead of rambling on, I'll let you guys get back to your perusing of YouTube. Hope you're having a great day, and thanks for tuning in.